Welcome. It's election day here in the United States, and I got a chance to sit down and have a conversation with a great friend of Cityside's, Reverend Kathy Young. And Reverend Kathy is just a beautiful, deep thinker, deep spiritual knower, truth sayer, truth channeler. Um, she's just got tremendous wisdom and tremendous knowledge, and it was just so joyful to sit and have a conversation with her. So I hope you enjoy it too. So it's so great to sit down and talk with Reverend Kathy. How are you? It's so good to see you. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. I'm great. And thank you so much for asking me to be included. It's an honor. I'm happy.
We're putting these conversations together on election day in the United States, and so much is on everybody's mind about the COVID situation and about the election. And I wanted to just talk to people like yourself who really hold the high watch, who really hold that higher consciousness, and to just take a breath and move us into words of wisdom or words of guidance to connect to that inner truth and what you might offer to folks with everything that's going on right now.
There's a lot. I'm actually been viewing it as a wonderful intensive lab.
Mm,
So it's one thing to know about principle and to know about consciousness and all those different things. It's a very different thing to embody it and live it. And we have to live into it. There's no there. It's an ongoing, lifelong process, I believe. And every time we deepen, we get a little further and a little further in terms of our ability to live it, no matter what the circumstances. But just as you didn't know, for folks who have for folks who have children, you didn't know what it was like really to parent when you were facing having your first child. People read all about it, they watch videos, they talk to friends, and they think they're ready, and then they bring that baby home and all the parents leave and it's just them and it's 2 a.m.
right.
And that's when you actually start learning what it is to be a parent and how do you take the information but actually embody it in a way that you can live it so that it becomes part of your life and it actually is shaping who you are. And that's what we do with principle. We frequently will learn a lot about things and we learn enough to activate them. Always a call to go deeper. There's always a call to express even further our innate wholeness, our awareness of oneness, our connection, to stand in the difficult questions that have, they seem to be opposite of one another, and yet we know they have to both be answered. How do we do that? That calls for a spiritual deepening, and that's why I think this is like some crazy intensive deeper lab. We're being forced to live it differently, not just learn about it differently.
Wow. And it is a calling, isn't it? I mean, it just seems like this is not, I mean, we're talking about the United States because of the election, but this is all over the planet.
Right.
Everyone's being called to this higher consciousness, I think.
Right. I would agree with you. It feels like there is a consciousness shift happening globally and throughout humanity. And I think it's been coming for quite a while, but it seems to have hit some sort of either a tipping point or an apex or something. Maybe it's a false horizon. We've got another one coming, who knows, or a false summit rather. But it is not just here by any stretch of the imagination. And it's not just happening for people of new thought. It's not just happening for people who live in certain cities. It's not just happening for people of a certain level of economic well-being or any of those things, education, any of that. It's, we are all one, and it's engaging all of us.
How amazing. I know you were a part of our prosperity class recently.
Mhm.
I'm sure the economy and how business is unfolding in these times is on a lot of people's minds. What's a good bit of spiritual insight that you might share with us about the thoughts we can hold in mind or the perspective we should hold around prosperity and abundance?
You know, the thing that I am so clear of, and that I am learning more and more and more to live into, so that it's actually my ongoing choice of attitude and expression, is that the only source I have is God. There are multiple venues for that source, multiple streams, multiple um, inroads, multiple opportunities, multiple ideas to generate that. All those things are true, but the only source is God. And when I move out of the context of circumstance, which facts are what they are, and they are that because we believe that, and they are that because we have evidence of that, and all those different things. And I could do my typical geek out thing on how the brain works and makes that happen, but I won't. So, from a spiritual perspective, we have to like go up to the top of the building and take the bigger picture view. The
Mm,
bigger picture view is that God is our source. God is the only source of abundance. Spirit is the only thing that's breathing us and moving us and causing our blood to circulate and causing oxygen to work perfectly and all the things that we have no control over at all. So there's no control that we actually have over the economy.
mm,
We have influence, absolutely. We have significant influence as people of high consciousness when we choose to see a vibrant, dynamic, robust economy globally. We can be a part of that if we choose to continue to see that. But attention goes, our attention creates our focus, which creates the subconscious signals to our subconscious mind, which is creating, and the universe is saying yes, 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 yes. So if I'm have my mind or my stickies on my computer, which I have stickies on my computer, or my morning quiet time really focused on the oneness of God. And then the minute I see something that causes me to get nervous, I start putting that as my primary and I start worrying about it, but I'm still saying the words, but the focus and the attention and the energy is on the problem. It makes it really hard to be able to really lift out and recognize that there's robust abundance available for everybody. There
right.
is more of everything than we could possibly ever count or use.
Mm,
It really becomes our experience is what we see, right? I mean, Mary Morrissey talks a lot about and I'm going to paraphrase her because I don't ever get the quote exactly right, but has to do with the circumstances of our experience, circumstances of our lives, or the curriculum of our evolution.
right.
It's all of the things that we experience that we get to then lean into and say, how do I apply principle here? How do I apply it here? Another visual I use for myself is I think of a hurricane. And if you're at the edge of the hurricane, if you're in the swirl of the hurricane, it is tumultuous, it is scary, it is life-threatening. All those things are absolutely the full-on experience. In the center of the hurricane is calm, and it's all part of the same hurricane. And you can't get to the center without going through what I call that ring of circumstance. And once we're in the middle, then we have to choose, just because we see something fly by that looks like, oh my gosh, do we choose to chase it into the swirl again?
Oh,
Or
wow.
do we choose to acknowledge it, have compassion on our feeling, and remind ourselves, and yet, this is what it looks like when it's all coming together.
Right, 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 right. That's powerful. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Mm.
Oh, so I'm just breathing all this in. Such great words of wisdom and just such great counsel. So grateful. Is there anything else you want to share with us on this day as as we watch the election returns and just prepare for whatever the next yet to be is?
What I would love all of us to remember is that everybody on the planet pretty much wants the same thing.
Yeah.
We all want to live our lives. We want to love our families. We want to be able to enjoy things. We want to be free. We have all of these beliefs that are so important to us. We want to be treated well. Many of us want others to be treated well, not others don't, but I mean, we have all these different ways of expressing, but at the heart of the matter, we're all one. We all have the same heart. We all bleed red if we're cut. We all want the same things. The challenge becomes when we get attached that we have to get those things my way.
Right, right, right.
And that my way can feel so reasonable. and it can feel so right. And that is probably true when I'm looking at this set of circumstances, but do I know the bigger context?
Mm.
And frequently I remind myself, I may think I know the bigger context, but what else could be going on here? There are other things that are greater that I have to trust that spirit and the universe have a knowledge of that I just don't.
Right.
And if I want to stand in the field of infinite potentiality and possibility, I have to acknowledge that no matter what it looks like, there is a possibility for what I'm dreaming of, what I feel I'm inspired
Oh, yeah.
to be dreaming of. And that's hard to do when we're faced with all this stuff flying in. I personally don't intend to be watching hours of election results.
For you.
I find that the media is, there's nothing high consciousness about it. And the stimulation of and the twisting of facts and everything else, it's all conjecture until it's done. And for me, that raises my anxiety in some ways, but more importantly, it causes me to be having to struggle to try and stay in a space of oneness. So when faced with something like this, when there's a really big important thing, I think the best thing we can do, because we are the people who know how to do this, is to hold the high watch and stand in the center of the hurricane and trust that the universe has got a hold of all of us in ways we don't understand, and just keep breathing and trusting the highest and best outcome is is on its way, whatever that looks like and for whatever purpose.
And just knowing that the universe has us is so reassuring.
Hmm.
Such a beautiful thought. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for spending time with me today.
you're so welcome. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
It was uplifting for me too.
All right. I hope we see you soon at Cityside.
Yes, I hope so too. In the meanwhile, love you all. Blessings.
Bye. Ah, how wonderful it was to just spend a few minutes with our friend Reverend Kathy. I hope that you really enjoyed that. Um, if you would like prayer support for anything that's going on in your life right now, you can always get prayer by emailing us at prayer@cityside.me, and someone will pray over your prayer request. Or if you want someone to reach out to you, put that in your request and we'll have someone contact you. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you really enjoyed the video. Take care.